Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to be here with you, getting into my weekly check-in. We're checking in for week 3 of my weekly check-in, which is back here. And I have all the information I need for this week, and I need to plan out a few things for next week, including this right here, which I think the number has changed by $2. So I'm gonna make a note real quick. $2. I forgot to add that in there. 72.33. So we are going to take a look at all the numbers, plan for the last 8 days of the month. Today is Friday. I normally record on Thursday, but I'm recording here on Friday. Hopefully I can get this up tonight. If not, it'll be up on Saturday. And we're just going to plan out the rest of the month. This month is a short month, so we have extra money this month, and I'm excited about that. And I will get into the details of that and a little bit of debt that we've had to get into more of. It's not a little debt anymore. It's growing very rapidly, but we've had several repairs that we need to take care of, and we'll be talking about that at the end of our weekly check-in. So let's go ahead and dive into the numbers. Okay, I'm back. I have my week 3 weekly check-in list here of all the transactions that you see from the 14th through the 20th, which is what we're tracking. I believe there's 9 transactions here, and that is what we're going to go through here. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm excited to have you here. I do monthly budgets, paycheck to paycheck, weekly check-ins, mortgage Mondays, and sinking funds setup and closeouts, and a monthly budget closeout every month, and a few other random videos from time to time. This year I'm actually doing scripture reading and writing videos as well. So if you are into that, this is a faith channel, and I do write scripture and prayer. So if that's a separate video, I pulled it out separately from the rest of them. But if you like that and want to hear my thoughts on scripture and budgeting, I have that there as well. Let's go ahead and get started. So we are definitely looking at grocery household first. So I have a key here if you're new to my channel. Grocery households in pink, restaurants in blue, miscellaneous is in green, gas is in orange, copay is in purple, and unbudgeted is in yellow. So we're going to start with grocery household as always. And first thing I have here is an Amazon purchase for $20.45. So these are like vitamins and supplements I get for my family or myself, and that's what I purchased here. I don't remember exactly what they were, but I know that's the gist of what I purchased there. And I like to buy a month or two supply of certain things, so that varies in price, and I always count that in my grocery household. If I can buy it at the grocery store normally, but it's just easier to get on Amazon, I count it under my grocery household. So for me, anything you buy in the grocery store, that is what this category is for, which is why it's a larger amount that I budget for it. And I'm budgeting for 4 adults in my family. Me, my husband, and our 2 adult sons who live with us and are autistic. The next thing I have here is Meijer's grocery for $198.08. Surprisingly, I actually went in the store this time. Normally, I would do this as a grocery pickup, but this day it was just, I had a prescription that day. So I was already getting a prescription. The store was not crowded or busy, so I went ahead and did a big shopping trip. And this was a lot of breakfasts that I was purchasing for all of us. And it's so funny, I realized everybody has something different for breakfast. My husband and 2 adult sons, they have different cereals that they eat, and I usually buy 2 packages of both, and that lasts them until the end of the month, and then we'll get another package. And I usually buy the larger boxes of things. For me, I have eggs and tortilla every morning for breakfast, so I'm always buying eggs and tortillas and things like that, a little breakfast burrito wrap. Yeah, I just found it interesting as I was looking back on what the receipt said, what I was buying, and that nobody had the same thing for breakfast. I did have to buy meats. Obviously, I got milk and snacks. Now for milk, we buy a lot of milk. You're going to see that almost on every grocery receipt we have. When I buy milk, I try to keep 4 gallons in my fridge at all times. So when I get down to 1 gallon, I know I got 1 day to get 4 gallons and it gets stocked up again. So my fridge always has a lot of milk, and it never gets to the expiration date. With 4 adults drinking them, it goes pretty quick. But meats was a big portion of this. Meats are very expensive right now. Chicken, steak, ground beef, things like that. That's what I got in that grocery pickup. Or I didn't pick up that time. Grocery shopping. And then I did do a grocery pickup here for $74.34. These were some odds and ends stuff for specific meals, and I didn't have what I needed. And I wanted to make sure that I had everything I needed for it, such as like rice, box dinners, pantry staples, canned goods. I did get some new snacks. We're trying the Meyer brand of the snacks that we normally buy because snacks obviously have gotten outrageous, and if we like the taste of it, we'll switch to that. So I just got some pantry staples, and that's what we have there. So this week's grocery trip total was $20.45 plus the $198.08 and the $74.34. And that gave us $292.87 total for grocery household. That is pretty good for a week. It is a very low spend. We are still getting snow. It is February 21st, and we got snow again for the 4th or 5th time, I think. And it's in the teens right now, and things are just so cold. I'm so ready for the cold to be over with. All right, the next thing I have here is restaurants. We ordered for the entire family and got extra stuff for Valentine's Day. We ordered pizza, had it delivered. It was snowing, it was cold. Just wasn't fun getting out and celebrating and stuff. So we just stayed home. And normally we do not go out for on Valentine's Day. We'll go like the week before, the week after, or something like that, when restaurants aren't crowded as much. And we just haven't done anything because it's just been cold. So it's fine. $62.77. I mean, after 28 years of marriage, you kind of get difficult to be original in your dating relationship with your spouse. So next thing we had was, let's see, that was Papa John's. Here, Buffalo Wild Wings. So I did not feel like cooking dinner that night. So that was $39.90. Oops. Don't know why I'm doing it this way, but I guess that's okay. And then I have here Wendy's for $19.47. So I had an opportunity to have a lunch date with some of my favorite people from church, and it was my friend's daughter and her mom, and her mom and I just had a great time chatting and having grown-up conversations. Her little girl wasn't feeling the best, but she wasn't really that sick. She just had a little bit of congestion and cough. So she didn't talk a whole lot, which is unusual for her, but we got to talk a lot, and it was wonderful, and I enjoyed spending time with her. So we spent total for eating out $122.14. But I always want to make sure I make opportunities to say yes for a lunch date with a friend and get out of the house. What I did here is I just went through the drive-thru and picked up the food for them and for me, and then came back to their house so she wouldn't have to get out not feeling well and stuff like that, little one. And that worked out pretty good for us. So, and we just chilled and hung out together, which was awesome. So I do have 2 miscellaneouses. One is the $21.19 from Meyer. My husband did buy me flowers for Valentine's Day on the way home from work. Oops, I dropped something. And then he stopped by Meyer and picked up. They had a floral section that he went to and got me whatever bouquet he could find with the most purple flowers, which was cute because purple's my favorite color. And then this here is actually a split receipt. I ordered these at the same time and they got charged together. This Amazon purchase is, oh, what is this? Miscellaneous. Oh, backpack. My husband ordered a new backpack. He had a backpack that he used to use years ago. It's been 7 years, I guess. He's gotten a lot of good use out for travel when he was a contractor with the Navy, and it was just small enough to carry what he needed when he was on flights, worked as he was traveling from ship to ship and stuff like that. So he now uses it for his current job, and the zipper broke on it. And I thought, well, it's been through the ringer, so I think it's good to buy another one. So he bought another one after 7 years, and it's a really good backpack, so he wanted it again. I was like, that's perfect. So we went ahead and ordered that so he can have that for work. And $21.19 plus $31.46, and that is $52.65. Next we have his copay, and that was $3.47. That was my prescription. And that is it for the spending. So I'm going to stop right there, and we're going to take these totals and put them in the weekly check-in. Then we're going to discover how much I need to pay back the credit card. So all of the spending that you see here is put on a credit card. I pay it off every week, what we spend. I may have other stuff on my credit card that's not part of our spending as far as what I plan and budget for in our categories. And there are some charges. I'll talk about that at the end of the video as a bonus if you want to stick around and see that. But everything goes on a credit card. So all the spending that we do for the week, plus the bills that came out that week, and I'll show you that in a minute, that is what I have to pay back the credit card. But for right now, we're just doing the spending. Okay, the spending here I need to put for grocery household is at $292.87. And then the $122.14 for eating out, $52.65 for miscellaneous. Gas was $0. I forgot to mention that we didn't have any gasoline charges. There will be a gasoline charge this week because I'm at a quarter tank and I need to get gas. The copay is $3.47, and I have $0 unbudgeted. Not that I didn't spend outside the budget, I did, but I'll go over the plan for that with you in just a minute. Unbudgeted for me is the buffer, the checking account. If there's cash left in there, I can use that unbudgeted for whatever I might need. And right now I'm not ready to claim that as part of debt payment or anything that I spent until the end of the month. So that's what we're planning and working on there. So let's go ahead and take this and figure out the new balances that's going into paycheck. The new balances that are going to go into week 4 of the weekly check-in, which will be my closeout video at the end of the month, wrapping up everything where those totals go to paycheck 2, and then I'll know exactly what's left over at the end of the month, and that could tell me how much I have available to make payment towards the credit card on all the debt that I have on the credit card. So I really need to pay that down. This is a season of being in debt for a little while and hopefully getting it paid off pretty soon. So that's where we're at right now. So we have $787.69 available for grocery household, and we have $292.87 that we spent, leaving us a balance of $494.82. And the way we've been spending 300, 400, almost 300, I would say I'm hoping to do 300, 350 at the most next week and save the rest, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm going to go ahead and put my check mark here because I've already made the payment to the credit card before I got on here, but I will be making sure the numbers were all right because there's one time I actually got the number wrong by 1 penny, and if I did that, I want to make a note of that. Next is the restaurants, $194.29 minus the $122.14, and that gives me $72.15. Next I have miscellaneous, $102.46 minus the $52.65, and that gives me the $49.81 for miscellaneous. Now I didn't spend anything in gas, so that is the same amount. That's more than what I need. If I took the 153.21, dang it, minus $65, let's say. It won't be that much, but just play it safe. For a full tank of gas, still leaves $88. So there's some money that can go towards debt payment as well. That will only have to fill up his gas tank, not anybody else's, so that will work there. And it's $75 minus the $3.47. That gives us $71.53, and again 0. So those are my new balances for the weekly check-in. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to move these balances over here, and we're going to talk about what I have to remember. So I know grocery household is going to have at least $72, maybe $75. So $75 of this does need to go towards Amazon Subscribe and Save, and that's close to the end of the month. So I need to make sure that I have all of that taken care of. One of these went up by $2. I can't remember which, but I did get the email. And I was like, it's fine, because, you know, the price went up. $72.15. Restaurants, I don't really have enough there for... It depends on how I do things. For week 4, which is starting here. If I have money left over at the end of February, before this pay happens, whatever transactions happen here, I'll use February's money. If I have enough and able to make a debt payment. If not, I'll move all this into the next month's budget in March, because all this money is meant for March anyway. I probably won't be able to afford this Friday in here, because it's usually our spending and it's usually eating out. So I don't know. I'll think more on it, but more than likely I'll close out here, and then this will be March. But when you see my closeout video, you'll know which direction I went on that, and I'll let you know then. So I have that. I have my miscellaneous category, and not a lot of money in here. Hopefully I don't need it, and if I don't need it, that can go towards debt. Again, $65 or less on the gasoline for my vehicle. I definitely will need that. And then I think there will be one more prescription. Oops. My ruler's right behind here, and I really shouldn't have left it in. There we go. $71.53, and then 0. There we go. So this is what I'm starting week 4 with. I need to remember this is going to happen at the end of the month. So $72 of that is going to be grocery household, because these are all supplements, things I could buy at the grocery store, but they don't always have them in stock when I go to get them. So this is just an easy way to have them delivered, and they're at my door, and I don't have to think about it, but I do have to remember how much was being spent for Subscribe and Save for the month, and I have not been doing that. And that fluctuates depending on some of our supplements we get every 3 months. So one month will be higher than another, or we'll add one, or we'll take something away. So that will always change, and I really need to pay attention to that. There is no week 5 because it's February. There's only 4 weeks in February. So that is the weekly check-in. I am done there, and we look pretty healthy here. Now, what we need to look at is the bills. So let's go to paycheck 2. And in paycheck 2, for the bills, for week 3, is the $2.99 for the storage on my phone, my husband's bill, and then the AT&T bill. So those 3 bills got put on the credit card. I needed to pay the credit card back because I'd already earmarked or put money aside out of this income to pay that when it happened. The only reason I put everything on my credit card is I get points. As long as I don't pay interest on the credit card, which I don't, not because I have a 0% interest. I don't. I have like a 8 or 13%. It kind of fluctuates between 8.99 to 13.99. I've seen it as high as 16.99. It's whatever the interest rate they give me at that time and what is happening with interest rates and inflation and all the things. But even with the debt I have on the credit card, because I put everything on there and pay it off, and it's about $4,000 a month I put on and take off with these weekly check-ins, I don't have interest that I have to pay. So I can actually leave $2,000 or $3,000 on the credit card and it not charge me interest because I'm always putting money on there and large amounts of it. So this week we needed to pay for all of the spending that we did here, plus this, and we're going to total that up right here. So $299 plus the $39.17 plus the $334.34. If you saw my setup video for Paycheck 2, this is $35 more for the AT&T than I normally would spend just because I got a new phone. I think it's an activation fee or a setup or some kind of fee to get things started, and we're good to go. Going forward in the month of March, this will be under $300. So that's pretty awesome. So we had total $376.50, and I'm going to add this to all these charges up here. So $3.47, $52.65, $122.14, and $292.87. And that gives us a total of $847.63 paid to the credit card, and that is the payment I made. So we are good to go as far as the payment I made, and that I paid off everything for the week as far as spending goes in the spending categories, and as well as the bills that got charged to the credit card. So my easy plan to figure out what bills got to the credit card at what time period, what week, since I do 2 paychecks schedules here, I put a line through here. This is week 1, week 2. All of this is week 3. By the time I get to week 4, all my bills are paid, or at least a couple days into it. So the only thing I'm waiting on is this to clear. I see a pending payment for the Vivint, and I'm waiting for the electric to clear, but I did get a text already saying it was coming. It was supposed to come yesterday on the 20th, but today's 21st. I'm sure sometime today it'll post as pending and then clear, whenever. So I do know they're coming, and I've made the proper adjustments based on how much is in my checking account after I paid the credit card, and that tells me exactly what's left in the budget to spend. So if I look at, let me see if I can pull this up, another bonus thing. Now this is my mobile app for my bank account, and as you can see, I've hit a couple of things here so I don't have to edit it on the screen itself, but I have this amount in my checking account. This is after I paid the credit card, so that's $1,321.70. So that is what's in my bank account right now. And in order to know, because things have not cleared yet in the account, I need to know how much. So the 2 bills I have left that need to be paid that have not cleared the bank account yet is this $65.82 and the electric bill, which was $247.36, and this is going to be extremely high next month as well. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. It's a whole story. It's a whole thing. Which gives me $1,008.52 left to use in the budget. This includes all those spending categories combined, plus $167. So this buffer's still sitting there, and what is left in the spending categories, this is the total. This is actually those 2 combined numbers, and this is what you get. But my bank account says more than that. Well, I know I can't spend more than that because I know this is the true number. I'm just waiting for some things to clear, and that number is going to drop anyway. So when you're doing your accounting for your budgets and you're looking at your bank account and you're like, hey, that's more, oh, I have a little more to spend. Not really. You got to take into account for anything that hasn't cleared and anything that's coming up that's automated. You got to make sure all that is done appropriately. So I just wanted to go over that really quick and show you how to do that. Okay, so now I have my credit card spending tracker. So not only do I want to track and discover how much I'm spending in my categories and pay it off every week for those categories and any bills that come to it, if I do use my credit card and leave a balance on it or leave debt on it, I need to track that as well. So this is the line item that matches all of those spending things you see here, which is highlighted in the exact same color. So you could either do a calendar that shows you trends on when is your heavy spending days and when is it and how many no spends you have, or you can do a transaction log, or you can be crazy like me and do both. And I do more than just this. So there's a lot of electronic versions of this as well to make sure my math is correct. But I like trying different platforms and different things to discover what I enjoy using as a tool to track all my spending and come up with the best information possible. Now, everything I use is free. I don't buy any apps. I don't pay monthly fees for apps. As far as the tracking side, I have the free version of the Every Dollar. I have my own Excel spreadsheet, which I have on my laptop and don't have to have, but I do, and it comes with what I have every year. So I do pay for that subscription, but I use Excel for more than just budgeting. So mostly budgeting, but for other things in my life as well. So you're going to see a few of these gray ones. I talked about Mead's Tractor, which is our lawnmower service that replaces the blades on our riding lawnmower. And we have property that's about 2 acres. So you need a riding lawnmower to cut all the grass and and make sure it's a great place to live without too much grass. So we had to get that taken care of. We hadn't done that since we bought it over 2 years ago, and it needed some maintenance, so we spent a pretty penny and we did not save up for it. That should be another sinking fund. I'm not sure how that's going to be set up, but we'll see. And then Southern States Propane came out as well and replenished our propane tank. So what I normally spend for the 1 year, the past couple years, I had to do double because we had so much snow and ice that I didn't have to pay that the first 2 years. So this is what I tried to save up, $240, $250, somewhere around that range. And I needed a second fill up at $250 because it was to 25%. And when we did it in the fall, I think October, November timeframe, it was at 25%. So we've really used it and still had a high electric bill. And, you know, it's just been that cold, and this area is not used to it. So I had $250 and 27 cents for the Southern States propane charge. And then all week, since last week, with the ice and the snow and everything, and when the snow melts and then refreezes, there have been icicles forming inside where the blades are in our heating AC unit. And so when the fan is turning, it's hitting those icicles and it's bending it, it's breaking it. We had the blade replaced today. Now it's still too cold to get it to turn on. I don't know. It will not warm up till Sunday, so we're using our emergency heat until then, and then we're going to try it then when the temperatures are in the mid 30s above freezing, and see if we can get it working. And then we're going to report back and make sure there's no other problems with our unit. If there is, they're going to have to look at the shaft the fan blade was on and the motor. So hopefully this is all we need to do. So we put on the credit card $668.85 for parts and labor for them to come out and replace the blade. That's where we're at with that. So that added debt. So these 3 items are the added debt in addition to the vacation debt we left on there foolishly. And I need to go back to the debt tracker. I'm just keeping a sticky note with a list of everything. So there's the lawnmower, there's the propane, and there's that. And then this is what we started with, vacation. So all of this is debt, all of that. And I got to figure out how to pay it off, and we're still building on top of it. Not to mention, we had a roof leak in our living room in the corner near our fireplace. Luckily, every time it rains or it leaks, every time it's rained, it's not leaked. It only did it with the first freeze that we had and caused an ice dam that lifted up the roof in one corner, and then when it melted inside and caused this leak, and then kind of warmed up enough to kind of seal itself back. And because the fireplace is right underneath that leak as well, I think it's keeping the drywall dry, and it's just stained right now. So we keep checking it. We keep climbing up there on a ladder, kind of tapping the wall and seeing if it's soft and wet, and it's not. It feels sturdy and dry right now. But eventually we're going to have to call somebody else and get that taken care of. So these are all the things that we have to think about as we're doing our budget going forward into March and April. Plus, we're planning to go out of town on April. We're still planning to do that. That is my weekly check-in. And that is what we paid the credit card. What I just talked about was the debt and where we're at right now. And that's why the credit card balance is at $2,954.29. That's the debt total if you add those three items. So that's what I monitor. I keep this little sticky note. So as I add more items for our regular spending, I know exactly how much of it's debt, and the rest of it is our spending that we'll be paying off. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Have an amazing and blessed day. Bye.
I'm looking out from my window. Sun's coming up like the day before. You're like a stone on my pillow. I don't make a sound when I shut the door.